Every single year, gun companies send out recall notices, some for triggers that fire on their own, some for safeties that fail at the worst moment, some for parts that snap in half mid-use. Major brands with millions of loyal fans, have all sent out at least one recall. Ruger has sent dozens, so has Smith & Wesson, so has Remington. But 7 Guns never did. Not once. Not a single notice, not ever. And these are not cheap guns that nobody bought. Some of them were used in wars. Some are still being sold today. One of them is going to genuinely shock you. Let's get into it. Number 7, Desert Eagle. The Desert Eagle looks like a prop from an action movie. It has appeared in over 600 films and video games. But most people who have seen it on screen have no idea what it actually is under the hood. Magnum Research introduced the Desert Eagle to the commercial market in 1982. It was originally chambered in .357 Magnum, then .44 Magnum, then eventually .50 Action Express, a cartridge powerful enough that many gun ranges prohibit its use indoors. That is over 40 years of continuous sale across multiple calibers, millions of units sold worldwide. And in that entire time, Magnum Research has never issued a single safety recall on it, not one. That fact traces straight back to how the gun was engineered. The Desert Eagle uses a gas-operated rotating bolt system, the same basic principle used in military rifles, not handguns. Most pistols use a simple tilting barrel or blowback system. The Desert Eagle uses something far more mechanically complex and robust. That over-engineering makes it heavy. The .50 caliber version weighs over 4 pounds loaded, but it also makes it nearly impossible to fail in a way that would require a recall. Magnum Research designed it in Minnesota. Israel Military Industries manufactured it to military-grade specifications. When a handgun is built to that standard from day one, 40 years and 0 recalls stops being a surprise. Number 6, M1 Garand. General George Patton called it the greatest battle implement ever devised. That is a strong claim. The production numbers back it up. Between 1936 and 1957, Springfield Armory produced over 5.4 million M1 Garands. The rifle saw combat in World War II, Korea, and beyond. It was government-issued and not sold through civilian retail channels during its active production run, so the standard consumer recall system never applied to it. But here is the key fact. No safety defect was ever documented or widespread enough to trigger any notice, civilian or military. John Garand spent 18 years developing this rifle before the Army adopted it. 18 years. He ran it through thousands of test cycles before a single soldier ever touched one. The result was an 8-round semi-automatic rifle chambered in .30-06 that became the backbone of American infantry combat through 2 conflicts. Today, the civilian marksmanship program legally sells surplus M1 Garands directly to American citizens. The rifle is still in civilian hands. There has still never been a recall. That record stretches back nearly 90 years. Number 5, Browning High Power. John Moses Browning designs more commercially successful firearms than any engineer in history. The High Power was his final design. He died in 1926 before he could complete it. FN Herstal engineer Dieudonné Saïve finished the pistol in 1935. What followed was a 65-year commercial production run. The High Power was adopted by over 50 militaries worldwide, including the British SAS and the Israeli Defense Forces. For context, most handguns get adopted by 1 or 2 militaries, if any. 50 is extraordinary. The High Power was the first pistol to use a staggered double-stack magazine, giving it a 13-round capacity at a time when most pistols held 7 or 8. That design was so well executed from the very first production year that it never required a recall. Refinements came over the decades, but no correction for a safety defect. Not once. FN Herstal discontinued the High Power in 2000. In 2022, they brought it back due to demand. In all that time, original production plus the new run, there is still no recall on record for any variant of the Browning High Power ever produced. Number 4, CZ75. In 1975, a Czech engineer named František Kutsky designed a pistol behind the Iron Curtain that most of the Western world couldn't legally buy. Czechoslovakia was a communist country. The CZ75 was a restricted export. Gunsmiths and collectors who found a way to get their hands on one immediately knew they were looking at something different. Kutsky borrowed the short recoil locked breech action from John Browning's earlier patents and then improved on it in one critical way. The slide on the CZ75 rides inside the frame rails instead of outside them, the exact opposite of most pistols. That design creates a tighter, more stable lockup and lowers the bore axis, which reduces felt recoil and muzzle flip. The pistol was mechanically correct from its first production year. That is a rare thing. Over 50 years later, CZ produces dozens of variants. Police forces and competitive shooters across the world carry it. No recall has ever been issued on the original or any variant. Some Western manufacturers copied the CZ75 design and ran into problems. The original? Clean record since day one. Number 3. Barrett M82. In 1982, a Tennessee gunsmith named Ronnie Barrett hand-built a .50 caliber rifle in his own shop. He had no formal engineering degree. The United States military initially rejected his design. Barrett sold it commercially anyway and kept refining it. By the Gulf War in 1991, U.S. forces were using the Barrett M82 to detonate landmines from 1,000 yards away and disable enemy vehicles with a single round. The military that had turned him down was now buying the rifle in bulk. The M82 is 57 inches long and weighs 32 pounds unloaded. It is engineered to hit targets beyond a mile. That level of precision demands extraordinary quality control at every step of manufacturing. There is no room for the kind of defect that triggers a recall when your product is a long-range anti-material rifle. Barrett has produced the M82 and its successor, the M107, for over 40 years. Dozens of militaries use them. Law enforcement agencies use them. The rifles remain in commercial sale today. In all that time, Barrett has never issued a safety recall on either model. Number 2. Ruger 1022. This entry is the one that deserves a double take. Ruger has one of the longest recall histories of any major American gun manufacturer. Their LCP pistol was recalled. Their SR9 was recalled. Their P85 was recalled. Their Mark IV pistols were recalled after the company discovered the gun could discharge without a trigger pull. Their M77 rifles were recalled. Ruger has issued more voluntary safety notices than almost anyone in the industry, which makes this almost impossible to believe. The Ruger 1022 has never been recalled, not once in 60 years. Bill Ruger and Harry Seafried designed the 1022 in 1964 as a simple, affordable 22 LR semi-automatic rifle for the American consumer market. The action uses a proprietary 10-round rotary magazine and a straightforward design with very few moving parts. That simplicity is the entire reason it has never needed a recall. Fewer parts means fewer failure points. Fewer failure points means fewer catastrophic defects. Ruger understood that from the start and kept that design philosophy locked in for 6 decades. Over 7 million 1022s have been sold. It is the best-selling .22 rifle in American history. Aftermarket companies build entire product lines around customizing it. Through 60 years and 7 million rifles, Ruger has never sent out a single recall notice for it. That record stands even as the same company recalled nearly everything else they made. Number 1. AK-47. No firearm in history has a production record like this one. Mikhail Kalashnikov designed the AK-47 in 1947 while recovering from a battlefield wound. The Soviet Army officially adopted it in 1949. By 2004, an estimated 75 million AK-47s had been produced worldwide. That figure represents roughly 3/4 of all Kalashnikov pattern rifles on the planet. Approximately 100 million Kalashnikov family rifles exist in total across all variants combined. The AK-47 has never had a safety recall, not from its original Soviet manufacturer, not from any of the dozen countries that have manufactured it under license across 70+ years. The design explains everything. Kalashnikov built the AK to function in conditions that would destroy other rifles. The tolerances between its internal parts are deliberately loose, which allows dirt, sand, and debris to pass through without jamming the action. The gas-operated long-stroke piston system is powerful and mechanically forgiving. Soldiers have buried it in mud, submerged it in rivers, and put it through desert heat for months. It kept firing. When you engineer a rifle simple enough for an untrained recruit to field strip and operate reliably in any climate on Earth, recall-level defects become nearly impossible to produce. The AK-47 was not just built to be reliable, it was built to make reliability unavoidable. Kalashnikov himself said his only goal was to create a weapon that a simple Russian peasant could use. He built it so simple that complexity itself, the root cause of most defects, was designed out of the equation entirely. 75 years later, it holds the #1 spot on this list without any competition. Every gun on this list got here the same way. They were built right the first time. No corner cutting on the parts that mattered. The engineers behind them took the time to get the design correct before it ever reached a customer's hands. In an industry where recalls are common and no federal agency can even legally force a manufacturer to issue one, a zero recall record means something real. These guns never needed a second shot at getting it right. They only needed the first. Those are the only 7 firearms ever made with absolutely zero recalls.